With the kickoff of the Sky Bet Championship fast approaching. But welcome back to another episode of Not Another Football Podcast, where we celebrate the good and the bad in the Denver bar of all things football with your boys Burnham and always Butcher. Good morning, sir. Afternoon even.
Afternoon, all football fans. Let's discuss that great game that makes us go, oh fucking hell.
Oh fucking hell. That's a throwback to episode
and there's been plenty of fucking hells during this fucking break, you know. Am I fucking sick of fucking hearing Liverpool fans, yes, my fucking fans, bitch and fucking moan about Fenway fucking Sports Group and fucking hell, they should go, sell the club. And now all this fucking shit with Felipe Coutinho.
He's off.
Listen.
He's going.
Let me educate you on fucking Felipe Coutinho, right? We play a 4-3-3 system. 4-3-3. That's 4 at the back, 3 in midfield, 3 up front. Not specifically to wingers, but it helps to fucking have people that can run. Felipe Coutinho is an attacking midfielder, right? And let's be honest, talk about great attacking midfielders throughout the world. Look at his what he gives to us in terms of being that sort of player. 15 goals a season and 7 assists is not a good fucking return for me. If you're going to be offered fucking over 100 million, you are stupid fucking cunts if you don't take it. Especially when you've just signed Mo Salah and you've got Mane. You've got 2 fucking flairty fucking players there that can play on each fucking flank. Why are we moaning?
Not even 2 minutes in.
Why are we moaning?
Not even 2 minutes in.
This is it. See, this is what winds me up. Is uneducated football fans that fucking go, oh, we're a selling club. We're not a selling club. But we're always going to produce. Look at Sheffield United, Dave's team, right? Kyle Norton, Walker, right? Teams produce talent. Even when they're not producing talent, you're buying team players from other clubs and you're nurturing them. You're making them better players. We made Felipe Coutinho a better player than Inter Milan produced. So why shouldn't you know what I mean? You be taken by, you know, like a testimony to fucking Jurgen Klopp and his coaching team. He's made these players better players. And if you can make a shit ton of money at them, sell them.
Agreed. I do agree.
Fucking hell, what are you crying for? Grow the fuck up. It's football. No, it's not football. It's business. Football died years ago.
That's it. It is a business these days.
Football died years ago, man. They're not. These owners, don't slate them and say, oh, they're not football fans. You're fucking correct. No owners are football fans. They're businessmen. They're all about equity and growth. And how much can we make out of this club in a year? Fucking hell. Right, that's the rant done.
Not even 5 minutes in and you've already lost your shit. Anyway. So since we have been away, it has been a couple of weeks, there's been a bit of pre-season going on. Obviously, Sheffield United, my team, whoop, unbeaten in pre-season. We've been over to Spain and beat La Liga's Malaga. We've had Premier League Stoke, full strength, come to Bramall Lane, and we've dust them to one side as well. So for me, it's been quite a good pre-season, and also victories over like Rotherham, Chesterfield, fully unbeaten pre-season, won every game. Very impressed. But from Liverpool's standpoint, what's pre-season been looking like? So I know you've had, you've been over in America?
Yeah, we've had a productive. I like to say productive. Pre-season's just pre-season, isn't it? It's a way of finding your fitness and finding, you know what I mean, testing out new players, new talent.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, we've not had a busy transfer window. I mean, we've only signed three players, one youngster for the you know what I mean. Solanke's come in.
See, I like the look of Solanke.
What a fucking player he is.
There was some highlights on Sky Sports the other day. Was it they scored in one of the games?
He's good.
One of your last games he scored, and lovely.
Yeah, he's a good player, mate. So when I watched him in the youth, was it the under? They won the under-19s,
Under 19 Euros.
Under 19s, and he was fucking superb in that. You know, big lad, mobile, and it's weird, right? Because he's supposed to be a centre half. And you look at him, and the thing I like is, again, Liverpool fans always asking for a number 9, right? You've got Daniel Sturridge there, right? If you can get Daniel Sturridge to be Daniel Sturridge, you have got one of the best fucking finishers in the Premier League.
But the problem, is that Daniel Sturridge is only Daniel Sturridge like 4 games out of a 30.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the issue.
Why do you think he's bounced around between Man City, Chelsea?
Exactly.
Do you know, he's bounced around. The best clubs have looked at Sturridge because he is a top player when he's playing like Daniel Sturridge.
Yeah.
When he's like Daniel Sturridge is unbeatable. Like the season that Liverpool should have won the Premier League, you had Sturridge and Suarez were causing havoc with defenders. Havoc. I think, to be fair, Suarez made Sturridge the better player.
He did,
and he's never looked as strong as he has.
Well, you've got to remember in that 2014-2015 season, where Liverpool narrowly, marginally missed out,
slipped,
and it was marginally. You know what I mean?
Slipped.
Yeah, no. This is the thing, right? Yes, it happened, but that wasn't what cost us. It was fucking dropping points to Stoke, Crystal Palace. Yeah. That's what fucked us up. If we hadn't dropped them points, then we'd have been Premier League champions. No doubt about it. But Suarez didn't just make Sturridge look good. Jordan Henderson had the season of his fucking life. You know? Jordan Henderson ain't no fucking Liverpool captain. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Jordan Henderson, for me, he's a good player. He's not fantastic. No. He's not Steven Gerrard. He's not Xabi Alonso. He's not Didier Man. He's good.
Yeah, he does a job.
He's good. Is he good enough to lead a team like Liverpool into the Champions League or back to where they want to be? I'm not going to say deserve to be, because I don't consider Liverpool deserve to be fucking, you know what I mean? They're not as good as Manchester United. They're not as good as Manchester City. They're not as good as Arsenal. They're not as good as Chelsea. We've gone backwards. Yeah. That's the fucking truth of the matter. But, you know, that's Solanke, kid. I look at him and I think Chelsea don't know how to fucking use their fucking reserves. Their youth team, in my opinion.
Well, it's not about
they don't nurture talent anymore. They buy it fucking and they'll loan it out.
Like we've spoke about many a times, it's instant.
They look
success.
to make money.
It's instant success. And why do you think last season they had 60 players out on loan?
And they know.
And it's going to be exactly the same again
with Solanke. They know they fucked up with Solanke.
There's many.
Sent him out.
Kevin De Bruyne.
There's loads. There's loads. Andreas. What's his name? That fucking Danish guy. Andreas Christensen.
There's loads. Yeah? Marco van Ginkel. He's on his 25th
Lucas Payson.
Lucas Payson.
You know? They bought Christian Atsu from fucking Portugal.
Yeah, is he
Liverpool went after him.
He
signed for Chelsea. Couldn't you? Newcastle now. Yeah,
Newcastle. Yeah,
you know, fucking the list is endless. Of talents, they're just wasted. They don't buy to produce. They buy to stop other teams producing them. And then, because this is the thing with Solanke, Liverpool have jumped on an opportunity. The kid fucking was at one of the biggest fucking clubs in England. But the kid, unlike most kids these days, he isn't influenced by the fucking pound. Not to say what he won't be in about fucking 5 years influenced by money. Probably he will.
When he goes to Real Madrid for 100 million.
He wanted to play fucking football.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? He's gone to Vitesse Arnhem in Holland for 2 years, learnt the European trade. That's why Klopp looked at him and thought, this kid's been renowned internationally at a young age. He's gone over to Europe. He's dominated Holland. This kid can fucking play football. Do you know what I mean? Fucking what a signing. And Mo Salah. Oh, for the fucking lad that everyone was calling a flop in English football. Goes over to fucking Italy. Absolutely smashes the back out of it. Do you know what I mean? He makes Italy the fucking Sonny. The Sonny of wrestling. That was Italy. He dominated it. Do you know what I mean? He took Italy by the scruff of the neck and fucked it up the arse. That's what he did. He's come back to England, scored 5 goals in pre-season. Do you know what I mean?
Only time will tell, though. Because some players, though, and it's been proven, though, he is a good player and he's very, very quick. But it has been a lot of players have gone over to Italy and smashed it, or gone out to other countries and smashed it, and never. Put the mustard in.
I've got a good feeling about this lad. I mean, we'll be having this conversation in about February next year, and I'll still be screaming Mo Salah's the man.
Shall we move on to a bit of the championship then?
Let's talk championship.
It kicks off this Friday, but let's have a little run through of who could be the movers and shakers, obviously, within the championship. Now, for me, championship this season is going to be probably one of the most competitive at both ends. But for me, who I believe were the top two, the ones that we're going to be in this conversation in May. And for me, the top two will finish first and second. Not quite sure what order, but I think Middlesbrough and Villa. Obviously, Middlesbrough, biggest problem last season was lack of goals. Biggest problem. They had a solid team and they were competing against a lot of teams in the Premier League, but they were 0-0 in everything, or they were losing 1-0, 2-0. So they just couldn't score for love nor money.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've brought Gary Monk in. He came very, very close last season, taking Leeds to the playoffs. It seemed to all go wrong after about February. They just started losing, but up to there, I thought they were contesting at one point for automatic. You've got a very young, fresh mind with a new approach. And Middlesbrough also, obviously they've gone out and spent a bit of money as well, and they've tried to tackle the lack of goals from last season. They've brought in Britt Assombalonga, I think you have to pronounce it. I'm shit
he's
with
a
these
cracking
names.
player.
Obviously proven. They spent a club record 15 million, but he's proven goal scorer in the Championship. And they've also brought in Martin Braithwaite, Ashley Fletcher as well, another couple of strikers. So for me, if they can kind of keep the squad together that they had last season, but add an additional 20 goals, then easily, because you've got a team, as I say,
that Braithwaite's a fantastic player.
Exactly.
I watched him play against Liverpool. I think he was playing for Toulouse. Fucking brilliant player. Honestly, it surprises me how he's not being picked up, because he's pacey. He's fucking, you know what I mean? Good head.
Yeah,
bit experienced, strong. He'll do well at it, I think. Yeah. I think he'll do well at Borough.
And like I said, Borough's kind of still got the team that got promoted 2 seasons ago. All they did last season was
that shows that they're a well-run team. They're a well-run club.
Well, I used to always say that about West Brom. If you remember, like back in the mid-2000s, West Brom were yo-yoing when, like, Brian Robson kept them up that one year when they had like Kieran Richardson, Canu was playing for them, Robbie Earnshaw. But then they got relegated. But then, like, over the next 5 seasons, they were up, down, up, down. But they kept like this core of the squad together over like 3 or 4 seasons. And every time they kept getting relegated, they were getting money, obviously, with your parachute payments. And then it was like all of a sudden, after like 4 seasons, they'd built this solid squad. They'd got a decent bit of money behind them, and then they just went for it. And now look, they're an established team in the Premier League.
I think the problem with Borough was, for me, was Aitor Karanka. Right, he brought in all these players that, you know, I'm not going to dig at Spanish players, but for me, players that they weren't gritty enough.
Well, I think for me,
he brought in, I think one of them was Barragan.
Yes.
Ex-Liverpool reserve. Not good enough. I knew straight away. He's gone over to Spain. He's had a couple of seasons in fucking Spain with different clubs. Had a good season with Valencia. And he's just signed him, and he signed a load of misfits.
Well, Negredo
had no grit. They had no fight.
He put all his eggs in one basket with Negredo, and Negredo was terrible. He ran all. Don't get me wrong. He ran all day. But he didn't do anything. And then, for me, his biggest error was letting Jordan Rhodes go.
Oh, well.
I just don't understand.
I don't understand that. Because they went all out to get him from Blackburn.
Yeah.
And then he had no faith in him.
I don't understand. Proven it was one of them Championship players that everybody always used to shout at, that he needs to be given a chance in the Premier League. And when he left Huddersfield to Blackburn, for me, my eyebrows were raised. I thought, Blackburn's too low. He needs to be going straight into the Premier League. Let's see how good this kid is. You get them
players, don't you? You get them players all the time that you'll see them blown up. Who's that kid that was at Crystal Palace? Striker. He was another Championship prodigy as well. I don't know if he's still there.
Zaha?
He was another... No. English lad. Well, Zaha's English. Fucking naughty of me there. But oh Christ, what was his name, man? I can't remember who he played for.
Talking striker.
Striker, mate. Yeah, striker.
I don't know.
Keep going. I'm gonna fucking Google. I'm gonna find out who he is, because it's gonna wind me up. Because I love this lad that I'm talking about.
We'll park the bus on Middlesbrough. The other team that I believe that will be contesting. Steve Bruce has Barmy Army. They've brought John Terry in. Aston Villa. I think Steve Bruce, he's kind of... I don't know whether he has plump for experience, but I don't know whether it's too much experience with bringing in John Terry and Christopher Samba as well. You've got if he's going to play them two together at centre half, you've got a lot of age between them two.
Yeah.
But then he's also done what Steve Bruce does, and if Steve Bruce is at your club, then give it 5 minutes, and Ahmed El Mohammadi will soon be walking through your door. But the one signing that I do believe is the signing that for me will keep Villa towards the top of the league, bringing in Glenn Whelan from Stoke. I think Glenn Whelan's a quality player. He's one of them players, Glenn Whelan, that will always do a job. He'll never make the back pages, but like Jonathan Walters, very similar to like Jonathan Walters at Stoke, that he'll always score. If you look at Stoke, 5 times out of 10, John Walters has been on that score sheet. And that's the kind of, but he'll never get the claim for it. Do you know what I mean? There's always players that are more high profile, and that's the same with Glenn Whelan. Glenn Whelan always used to put a massive shift in, but never get the credit. Your sparkling flair players that get all the credit. So I think for me, they're going to be a top 2, Villa and Middlesbrough. Any arguments?
No, to be honest with you, no, I haven't. I think the only one, really, for me, that could probably finish outside of that top 2, for me, is Villa. Because the only reason I say that is, looking at them last season, yes, they've added a bit to it. And John Terry, for me, is just that for me is just fucking, it's a winner all day long. Just from a leadership point of view.
Yeah.
And I mean, I look at him and I still don't think, fucking 36 years old. 36, 37, 37.
Something along them lines.
I don't think that guy looks fucking 37, and I definitely don't think he plays like a fucking 37-year-old.
Oh, no. Not at all.
I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't screaming end of the season for Liverpool to fucking try and get him. Because I thought, fucking hell, for a season or 2 years, I think you could still get it from him. I think he looks fitter than Jamie Carragher did when Jamie Carragher retired. Yeah,
I'd say that. Yeah,
I got to be honest. You can't be scared with stuff like that. My problem is Villa's owners. Are they treating this club? Obviously, they've got a lot of fucking expenditure still there from Randy fucking. I haven't got a clue about fucking football, Learner. You know what I mean? That's why they call him a learner. I don't believe that was his surname. I actually think the fucking he was actually a learner when it came to football. Literally ruined a fucking top flight club. Not a lot of people fucking know it, but back until a few years ago, the only 3 teams in the fucking Premier League never to fucking drop out the top fucking tier were Everton, Southampton, and Aston Villa.
Yeah, no, I don't agree.
Everton, Southampton, Aston Villa. Everton are the only ones left now. Southampton have come down and gone back up. Fair enough. Villa dropped out of the top fucking flight. That for me was a fucking disgrace. But that wasn't down to the team or the managers they've had. Because let's face it, they've had some good managers in years. You know, Martin O'Neill, David O'Leary.
Well.
Good managers. You know what I mean? Not shit managers. Not one season wonder managers. David O'Leary did a fantastic job with fucking Leeds United. Again, a manager taking money out the club and not putting it back in Peter Ridsdale. No one will argue with me any difference.
Oh, definitely.
To me, you can't have, you know what I mean, take all that money from sales of Mark Viduka, fucking Rio Ferdinand, Alan Smith. The list goes on. And the team, like I say, watch is Fulham.
Yes. Well, speaking of Fulham...
I've got to see, man, they've kept all the Sessegnon. Not Sessegnon, what's the fucking kid's name?
Yes, Sessegnon, Ryan Sessegnon.
Yeah, Liverpool tried to get him. He stayed. That was important.
And Tom Kearney as well. They managed to keep hold of Tom Kearney.
The managers stayed.
So speaking of Fulham then, let's go on to some last season's Championship playoff semi-finalists. Fulham and Sheffield Wednesday. They're two probably of the outside of them top 2 that we've already covered who'll be up there contesting. With Sky Bet, Sheffield Wednesday are 3-1 to get promotion this time around. Obviously suffering defeat in the last 2 playoff campaigns. But Fulham, obviously they've brought in Tom Callas and Lucas Pires on loan from Chelsea, as long as Oliver Norwood from Brighton. And as we said, Tom Kearney and Ryan Sessegnon, they've both signed new deals. Fulham, for me, they should be up there. And Wednesday, they've added, as we said, Jordan Rhodes and added George Boyd as well, which it hurts me to say it, being obviously the blade that I am, but George Boyd's a quality player, and I think he could be. They needed something out. They were missing a bit of grit, I think, towards the end of the campaign last season, and I think George Boyd could add that bit of grit. And if they get the best out of Jordan Rhodes, because I don't think we've seen it at Sheffield Wednesday yet, if they do get the best out of Jordan Rhodes, then they could be someone to be feared.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't fear them
Yeah.
because we're going to get 6 points. So let's some playoff hopefuls then. Derby County. Obviously, they're starting this Friday, as we said, away at Sunderland. My issue is Will Hughes has now left the club, and I know they've brought in Curtis Davis and Tom Huddleston, but
not enough.
They're just two, for me, they're two mediocre players.
Average footballers.
Yeah, been at average clubs. Are they
never done anything, played in the Premier League and gone backwards. That's the only thing I will ever say about Curtis Davis. I would say is the best out of the two of them. But again, another player that's just never shown promise.
Yeah, and obviously they've lost the biggest player. They've lost Tom Ince. Obviously, he's now gone to Huddersfield.
Yeah,
Probably their two most attacking, flary players of Tom Ince and Will Hughes. They've brought them in and they've got rid of them, and all they've brought in so far is Curtis Davis and Huddleston. So I think they will be contesting for playoffs, but I think again Derby will just miss out because of that lacking strength and depth and quality.
I see Derby on the other end, you know.
Oh, you see Derby?
I do, yeah. No, I do definitely see them struggling. I just think they're a club gone backwards. It's just there's this fucking they're obsessed with giving managers, you know what I mean, jobs, and they just don't do anything with them.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
There's no end product with Derby. You spoke about Will Hughes. Then I've heard him spoken highly of for years. I don't know whether that's the fact that because he was at a club going nowhere, I never seen anything from him. I suppose that'd be a fair assumption, you know. The lad ain't progressed because the club fails to want to progress.
But he's gone.
I mean, where's he gone? Watford, isn't he?
Is Watford the club? Is Watford maybe a stepping stone for him to see how good he is in the Premier League?
I think it's a good club to go to, and you know what I mean. Show your stuff. If he's this best decent thing that everyone's talking about, we'll see it at a club like Watford because he's not going to fade into the background, is he? Yeah. Amongst, you know, like going to a fucking Chelsea or an Arsenal or something, he ain't gonna get a sniff.
No, totally agree.
You know, let him have a bite at the bit if he fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he does it, then you know it's Derby that failed him. If he doesn't do it, then you could argue the fact that Derby were holding on too tight to fucking people not taking them forward. But I just don't see Derby. Yeah. I don't see Derby fucking being anywhere.
What about the so-called sleeping giant of English football, Leeds United? Obviously, Leeds United, they've had a torrid couple of years with ownerships and all this kerfuffle, but it seems like they seem to be on a bit of a straight and narrow path now, let's say. Obviously,
they got rid of that knobhead, haven't they? They got rid of that Chilino.
They've got rid of the idiot. It seems like they've got an owner in that wants to take the club forward. They've now, from what I believe, they've got the ground back off the council.
Yeah.
And obviously is it and I want to say Rad Rizani or something that's now the new owner.
Yeah.
Something along them lines. Obviously he's bought the remaining shares off Chilino and he can fuck off out of football, and hopefully just like that Tan that used to be was it Tan at Cardiff?
Fucking hell, he was an idiot,
people like that can fuck off and
goes and changes the colour of the fucking club's badge and everything.
Fucking idiot.
Donuts. He's a playboy. He was a playboy, exactly. And this is what I say with ownerships of some type of clubs. They're playboys. They're not football fans. Yeah. They're poor businessmen. They're not even businessmen. They're poor businessmen.
No, I'd have to agree.
You know?
So what about Leeds?
Poor businessmen.
Our Leeds.
I think Leeds will be there. I think Leeds will be up there.
Okay.
I think that they're not at the top of the playoffs, not, you know what I mean? But I think they'll be there. Maybe another season, I think. Maybe another season after this one. I mean, they've got some pedigree there now. Got some good players. It'll boil down to the fact that have they got the grit? Yeah. And are they being backed financially too? Kind of, you know what I mean? Put a bit of experience. So John Terry would have been fucking brilliant at somewhere like Leeds.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that's what they need, because Leeds, especially for a Leeds fan, it must be hard seeing, because Leeds, they are one of they were for a long, long period of time, one of the top dogs in English football.
Their history, mate.
And some of the talent, up to like 99, 2000, some of the talent that you saw coming in and out at Ellen Road was unbelievable.
Oh, they were a phenomenal club. They were a phenomenal club. I mean,
bringing now.
In football, you know what I mean? You talk about these teams that you despised. You could never despise a club like Leeds Football. You fucking, you know me.
Well,
You wanted their best players.
I don't know.
You wanted. I know what you don't know. But you know, you wanted their back in the 90s. You wanted the likes of Mark Vidukas off them. You wanted Harry Kewell, and we got Harry Kewell, and fucking they could have had him back.
Yeah.
But
no, but you wanted your Alan Smiths. You wanted your.
They were a great fucking side.
Kellys.
The problem was that fucking teams, the only one really to fucking leave. Mind you, know, Viduka did well at Borough.
Well, Viduka did well at Newcastle.
You know, exactly. But
Viduka was at Newcastle when Newcastle had about 100 strikers.
Alan Smith got buried by United.
Well, Alex Ferguson saw him as this new Nicky Butt, didn't he? Wanted to play him centre mid.
He got buried. They need to. I mean, they've got that fucking Vieira. I think he's a quality player, that Ronaldo Vieira.
I fucking love his name.
I think what a fucking player, man. He's got two of the greatest fucking footballers. I think he's a cracking player. Pablo Hernandez, another good player.
Yes.
They've got some good players. It's just knuckle down and go for it, man, because the club deserves to be back where it should be. So it really does. That Premier League misses. Do you know what I mean? Gritty clubs. There's a lot of fucking teams in that Premier League, man, that don't for me, are long overdue.
Oh,
long overdue.
Definitely. Well, even like a team like Nottingham Forest, they've not been in the big time for years. And
Sunderland.
years.
Sunderland should have fucking dropped years ago.
Well, let's speak of Sunderland. Two of the teams that got relegated from the Premier League last season. How do you think Sunderland and Hull City will fare?
I think Sunderland are going to struggle. I've never rated Simon Grayson as a manager.
He's never done anything sparkling. That is one thing about Simon Grayson.
I just think he does a lot of talk. Another average footballer back in the day. You know, I think he was at Leicester City, wasn't he? Spent a stint at Leicester.
He was at Villa, Bradford.
If you know what I mean, I didn't think much of him, and I think his managerial skills are exactly the same. I just think Sunderland are you look at their stadium, man.
Oh,
a team like that shouldn't be playing in a stadium like that.
No. What about Hull? Where do you think Hull will fare? Do you think Hull will be in the playoffs? Because I do. I think Sunderland will be. I like Hull.
I like Hull, and I didn't like the way Hull went down. Yeah, Hull were battling. I think, you know what I mean? It's whether they can get the same out of the guy that's there now. Leonid Slutsky. I think he was manager of Russia in the Euros a few years ago. See, to me, that's a gamble. That's a big fucking that it's dangerous. In all honesty.
Well, it can work one or two
how many
ways,
Russians?
How many Russians? Yeah, but it's not just about the Russian manager. They're bringing in a complete unknown. Who's never managed in the Championship. If you look at the Huddersfield Towns of last season, it worked for them. So that could have been. I think that can be sometimes the catalyst of the thinking of a lot of these owners. But
the thing it worked for Huddersfield, didn't it? But in all honesty, Wagner, he wowed me because he was a young coach with a good head on his shoulders. And I think this is the problem when you get someone like this, Leonid Slutsky. You know, he's old. He's got an old head. He's probably very, very strict. And I'm not saying you don't have to be strict, but he lacks English.
Yeah.
He's going to have that age, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I think in the last 10 years of football, we've seen a lot of young coaches. And young coaches seems to be the way forward now in terms of football. You have to look at Germany. Germany's youngest coach is 32 years old, manages Hoffenheim.
Yeah.
You know? And he's been there 2 years. Wagner, not an old coach, man, but talks well, conducts himself well. That Huddersfield team was superb. Superb last season. You know what I mean? They fought hard. You know what I mean? They were a unit. They were a unit. You know what I mean? They walked together. They died together. They played football together, and you could see it. They deserved their place in the Premier League. Now it's hard. Now they have to fight to stay there.
This is where the
Now it
down
starts.
definitely.
You know, Hull. I don't know. I just don't know. I really don't know. Sunderland, I don't know. Do I see them in the relegation? I would say Sunderland more than Hull, because I don't think Sunderland haven't cleared out enough shit that couldn't sustain the Premier League. And if they thought the Premier League was hard, this is 10 times fucking harder, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely.
Because in the Premier League, your survival is your trophy. In the Championship to the Premier League, that's £100 million. That's equity. Do you know what I mean? That's money. You know what I mean? Everyone is battling. Not even for fucking first. They're battling for first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. You know what I mean? Six places can potentially get you in the Premier League.
But
only two will get you there automatically.
Potentially 12 to 15 teams.
That's what I'm saying. Fucking, you know what I mean? I think Sunderland, I would probably say, yeah, I would put Sunderland in that fight.
So what about a dark horse? Let's move on to a couple of dark horses. One that I think it's going to go one or two ways. They're either going to be up there fighting, or they're going to struggle and they're going to be seen as a laughingstock because of the money spent. Wolves, obviously they've got super agent Mendes. He's been building their empire. They brought in Ruben Neves for 15 million from Porto, which is fucking unbelievable.
Liverpool were linked with him last season.
I know, he's a talent.
Not last season, the season before.
Liverpool
were quoted 32 million quid for him.
It could work one of two ways. Do you know what I mean? Players like Ruben Neves could absolutely shine in Championship, and Wolves could be top by Christmas. Or, as I say, it could be seen at the end of the season as money not well spent, let's say. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? They're owned by Forsum International now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Forsum International. The guy, the 17th richest man, on the Forbes' richest list, right? We all know where Chinese football is going in terms of money, and the fact that when I read about this guy that's bought Wolves, it's who he's associated with that could possibly come in to Wolves. I think they're a sleeping giant. I really do. I really do think they're a sleeping giant. You know, it takes some balls, doesn't it, to be able to be Wolves, do fuck all in football in God knows how long, and go and sign someone like Ruben Neves.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? It's like one of them things you wake up as a football fan in the morning and go, oh, 409. Wolves have just, breaking news, Wolves have just signed Ruben Neves, and you drop your coffee.
Yeah, 15 million. A club in the Championship have just bought out and forked out 15 million on a player.
Do you know what I mean? You drop your coffee. You're like, what the fuck? Especially me, I'm like a Liverpool fan, and freaking I know that the season before last, we were being quoted £32.5 million for this lad. And a part of me was like, but he's dropped like freaking 17.5 million valuation in like a year.
Yeah.
You know, did we make the right decision? Well, we're gonna fucking see, because I firmly believe
in the next 6
we're gonna find out.
Definitely,
we're gonna find out.
What about another club then, who they've yo-yoed between the Premier League and Championship for the last 4 seasons, but this season will be their second successive season in the Championship. Norwich. They've recruited well. They've brought in some talented youngsters. Angus Gunn, Harrison Reed. They've brought in. They've brought in James Husband. Is it from Middlesbrough?
Mm-hmm.
But they've got that unknown quantity with the new manager that no one's heard of, with Daniel Farke. Are they hoping that he's going to have, as we said a bit ago with Hull, the David?
He's going to have the Alex Neil. He's going to have the Alex Neil effect, isn't he? You know, the man that says very little. No, I fucking hate Norwich City, if I'm honest. I think they're a boring club with an owner that talks too fucking much. You know, I really don't like Norwich. I don't see him struggling, but I definitely don't see him in the top half of the table.
But
It's too hard. This
but
is the thing.
The owners have looked at it and they've brought in an exact carbon copy of what they've hoping with Wagner. It's the guy that took over from Wagner. Do you know what I mean? Daniel Falk had he was the reserve team boss at Dortmund, so he did Wagner's job once Wagner left. So they looking that, well, if Wagner did it, we'll just trust him. But yeah, I can't see. I think Norwich will be top 10. But I don't think.
Yeah, I would say just
6.
a bit lower than that, if I'm honest.
So let's go to the other end of the table then. Let's look at some potential strugglers. I just want to hear, are they yes or no if these teams will stay up or go down? Burton Albion, are they going to stay up? Down straight away. Bolton,
stay up.
Millwall,
stay up.
Ipswich,
stay up.
Sheffield United,
stay up.
QPR,
stay up.
Forest,
down.
Birmingham,
stay up.
And the reason I said Forest and Birmingham, with Sky Bet, Forest and Birmingham are more likely to get relegated than Sheffield United. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Barnsley.
4 go down from the Championship, don't they? Or is it 3?
3.
I'm going to go stay up. Yeah, I'm going to go stay up.
Okay. So, before we go into take a look at the fixtures, let's finish on who do you think will be top scorer in the Championship? My money is either on Chris Wood, because I'm a massive fan of Chris Wood, or Assombalonga at Middlesbrough.
I was honestly going to say Jordan Rhodes. I can see him having the season of his life with Wednesday.
I hope fucking not.
Honestly, I really do. I really do. It's a toughie, that, because there's a few fucking people at Fulham as well, man. There is a few at Fulham. They could fucking just do the business this season. Oh, fucking hell. What's his name? They got that. Is it Woodrow? Woodrow coming through?
Yeah, yes.
He's fucking brilliant player. He is, mate. Stephen Humphrey's a good kid and all.
You forget.
I got to put my money on Rhodes. I got to put my money on Rhodes. I would have to put my money on Jordan Rhodes.
Obviously, I'm going to put my money on Billy Sharp. Obviously. But I think, in all seriousness, I think Assombalonga for me, I think he's going to have a wonderful season ahead at Middlesbrough. Right, shall we look at the upcoming fixtures then for this weekend? And let's throw some predictions out there, and then when we come back next week, we'll see how good or shite we did. So the season starts this Friday. We have got 2 games. We've got live on Sky Sports, Sunderland at home to Derby. Home win, away win, or draw?
I'm going to go for a draw.
I'm going home win. And also on Friday is Nottingham Forest against Millwall. Forest are the home team.
We'll go away win.
I'm going draw. So moving on then, Saturday, Wolves at home to Middlesbrough. Should be a cracking game.
I'm going to go Middlesbrough win.
I'm going draw. I think draw. I think score draw. I think maybe 2-2. And yeah,
I'm fucking writing these down myself because I'm going to put them on my bet now. I'll be silly to fucking make this fucking bet.
QPR Reading.
Reading.
I think home win QPR. Fulham at home to Norwich.
Fulham.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Fulham. Burton at home to Cardiff.
Burton.
And Cardiff's one that we've not really spoke about. How do you think quickly that they'll get
Cardiff down?
Cardiff down. Yeah, I think draw. Villa at home to Hull. Steve Bruce going back to his old club for the opening game of the season. Well, having his own club coming to his ground.
I'm going to go draw, I'm going to go draw.
I'm going 1-0 John Terry header. Bristol
City. You better get down the bookies and put a pound on that, lad.
And that's the 5:30 game, the Villa Hull. So that'll be on TV, I imagine. Bristol City at home to Barnsley.
I'm going to go Barnsley. Barnsley win.
I'm going draw again, I think. Yeah, draw. Preston at home to Sheffield Wednesday.
Draw.
Away win. Ipswich at home to Birmingham.
Draw.
That's got draw written all over it. That's got 0-0. That's going to be the worst game of the day. And it should be one of them that people look at and think, oh, that should have goals in it. It won't. And the last game on the Saturday in the 3 o'clock kickoffs, Sheffield United at home to Brentford.
Sheffield United.
Need I even say? And the final game of the weekend on Sunday, Bolton are at home to Leeds United.
I love Bolton, you know.
I don't know. I'm thinking away win.
Leeds haven't got a good record beginning the first game of the season.
Well, maybe, but I don't think Bolton will be strong enough. I'm changing it. I think draw. I think score draw. Or ball draw. Could be 0-0.
They've still held on to that lad though. They've got, haven't they? That's what I'm saying. He's fucking what's his name? Young kid. Had a fucking storming season last year for them.
Zach Clough.
Yes. What a player.
Great player.
What a player. They'd be the last season they fucking have him, I tell you.
Well, they were talking January, weren't they? They were going to the Premier League, but it was just paper talk and no one actually come out and made a firm offer.
I think they've got some. I do think they've got some good players. Like that Amiobi's gone there as well, hasn't he?
Oh, Sammy. Yeah.
I don't think they'll be. I think they'll do all right. Bolton, mid-table finish, but just build on it now. Build on it. Get the right players in there.
So let's park the bus there. I think on the Championship. There are predictions. Let's see how right we are this time next week. But I'm very looking forward to, obviously, being a Sheffield United fan. I will be at Bramall Lane this coming Saturday. I am very looking forward to the first game of the season, and I cannot wait. It's been a horrible couple of months without it. But I think we'll leave it there. Butcher, if you want to tell everybody where they can find us, as always, on social media.
You can find us at NAF Podcast. You can also find us on our wrestling show, which is WW Podcast 20. You can get me at 69 Butcher. Where can they find you, Dave?
Burnham 85.
Burnham 85.
It's up to you. I wouldn't really follow. I'm quite boring on Twitter.
It's not very active.
It's up to you. Follow me if you want. I think I've only got about 400 followers or something. Follow me if you want. It's up to you. Just to add my count up. But yeah, so we'll park it there. We'll be back next week. And I think it'll be about time to predict the upcoming Premier League season across not just England. Obviously, we'll touch at Spain. We'll have a look over at Italy, Germany, France. We'll try and cover the whole shebang as we've been away. Obviously, we'll try and make next week a little bit more special and try and cover a bit more wider and broader topic than just the Championship. But until next time, thanks for listening as always. I've been Burnham. That's been Butcher. Until next time.
Double D out.